Good morning, still morning guys, March 20th, Friday 2020, 3 witches day. Piotr here, this is Light Forex Global YouTube channel. It's my pleasure to make another update for you. Looks like it was great idea to think about the longs on dip, both Nasdaq and DAX, right? We were discussing this for the last 2 days. The yesterday lower shadow, right? Guys, you have to remember, that's what I'm talking about usually. It's some kind of the visualization. Did I knew that we are going to create the second lower shadow? No, I've been trying to visualize this, right? I've been trying to think about that, what might happen, where we are from the higher time frame perspective. Guys, don't forget, you can monitor what I'm doing. So it's not only discussion, right? You can find the link in the description, okay? Of course, it's not gonna work every time, each time, every day, each day. No, sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I have to book the loss, but come on. Latest Nasdaq, latest DAX did really well. Again, the link in the description if you want to check what if I really traded, right? Anyway, the thing is that in my opinion, that's what we already discussed quite a few times. In my opinion, we don't have a bottom yet, in my opinion. I might be totally wrong, but the bounce is purely based, well, on the higher time frame chart, right? So what happened? Remember, that's the daily Nasdaq, right? We hit some significant levels. The stops were taken out, right? Based on what is important, guys. Based on these lows, that was the attempt to create swing low, right? Then market makers decided, no, we are going to make lower swing low, right? And to take more stops, right? To invite more sellers so we can hunt them later on. And of course the case with 3 inches later today. So to be honest with you, it was nice to take the profit this morning, especially when I saw a limit up on the Nasdaq. Was quite okay. To be honest with you, I had no idea where we are going to end the week today after 3 weeks, right? Because it looks good. We might see some kind of the correction. Now, how high can we go? Well, it might be that we are approaching the top of that correction based on the equal moves, right? Now, also, we were looking where market might trying to find the bottom, right? So we found that space, but now it's gonna be smart to have a look where market may think that, all right, it's a little bit too high with this correction, so let's get back to what we do the best last few days, limit downs, right? I think that we are approaching these levels, right? So what I see for now as the highest high, it might be 8,000, right? It might be 8,000, but in that case, it's gonna be move bigger than this 1-to-1. But cannot rule it out that we are going to have a pullback later today or early next week, and we are going to make the same size as we've seen after the correction, right? And then we will finally hit that level and eventually to go lower. Now, why I'm so pessimistic? Well, I wouldn't say I'm so pessimistic. I would say we have, after such a move, we can't say it's a bear market. Of course, the definition is 20% from the top and blah, 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 blah. I would say that what is going on right now, I'm not so pessimistic. I was always saying that we don't need the crash, we need the healthy correction. It's not a healthy correction, it's a crash, right? And if someone thinks that, you know, all those lockdowns and stuff like this are gonna to end at the very beginning of the April, because that's what, for example, here in Europe, in many countries, been said. So, for example, Austria already extended all those restrictions they have to, till 13th of April, so another 10 days. And probably, not to make a panic, we are going to see every day the extensions, right? At some point, of course, it's gonna to create the panic. But so, from the economy perspective, it's I think we should, if we are talking that, oh, okay, everything is gonna be fine, we should start to live normally right now. We cannot. So all those, okay, China send all people to work, fine. The question is to whom they are going to send their goods. If there nothing is going to be like normal, usual day in Europe or in US. In US, we didn't even start the real lockdowns. There were discussion about the possible whole New York lockdown. Well, we will see what's going to happen in London over the weekend, right? So the things are not that great. And one thing, I've been talking lately that exposure should be lower, right? Once we are going to get to the normal market condition, then we can get back to the normal exposure, right? But right now, first thing first, lower the exposure. Second thing, why I choose to, or decided to take this profit on the, for example, Nasdaq and DAX, right? Because I don't want to stay over the weekend with my exposure, right? Thanks to the big rally on the Aussie Kiwi, also I took partial profit. The only probably the only exposure I'm going to stay over the weekend are gonna be cryptos, but that's for separate video, right? So, well, I see higher levels when it comes to the indices, but again, something similar to what we've seen on the Nasdaq yesterday. From the intraday price action, the moves are ugly. The moves are fast, right? So that's what I expect. And from the intraday perspective, I wouldn't say the same as yesterday, that we are going to move much higher than 7,600, 7,750, right? Then the 8,000 I've been talking about, it might be hit as early as next week. So that's how I see the indices. Let's have a look what we have when it comes to the currencies, because guys, very strange thing when it comes to the dollar yen. V formation in play, positive sentiment overnight, but what happened? Profit taking on the dollar yen. Wow, that's strange. That's strange. With this environment, why it didn't go higher? There is a supply, very visible supply, and levels about around 111.35, right? So they went even higher than what I've been talking about. So yesterday they crossed some supply and they went even higher. But overall, dollar was strong. Overall, sentiment was positive. So, well, I haven't been looking for the short opportunity when it comes to the yen crosses. And I'm not gonna to look ahead of the weekend, right? But maybe after the weekend, not necessarily dollar yen, but for example, euro yen or pound yen. That depends what's going to happen on both euro dollar and the cable, right? Because euro finally did the move. Well, here is where I made mistake. I took the rest profit, right? I thought that we are going to see some kind of the bigger bounce. We haven't. So I'm going to look for the, that's what happened overnight, but I've been sleeping. I'm gonna to look to renew somewhere above 108 my shorts, right? And I'm ready to build eventually if we are going to see higher levels on the euro dollar, right? But a little bit different story after huge again crash on the cable. Today we are trying to recover, and this type of the price action, we've seen another lower low yesterday towards the end of the session, right? But for me, this spike here was saying that we might have some kind of the temporary low in place for the cable. As for Aussie, I've been discussing Aussie yesterday, right? So and huge rally, so they hit more stops, right, after the consolidation we've seen yesterday. So towards the end of the day they hit more stops, huge runaway, and looks like they are trying to engulf today what happened yesterday. The good thing is I've been thinking of going long cable, and to be honest with you, I would be hit here. So I'm going to watch carefully what is going to happen after the weekend. So because of the three reaches, because the overall week was good for me, again, link is in the description, you can monitor what I'm doing, I might be, not that active this afternoon. Anyway, trying to make the summary. I'm looking for renewal, partial renewal when it comes to Aussie QE. I'm looking for price action on euro dollar cable. I'm looking for what's going to happen, but from the next week's perspective on the dollar yen and indices. All right. So for today, I'm going to maneuver like from the intraday perspective only. From the medium term perspective, I want to see the weekly closes. Guys, be careful, don't be trapped. It was my pleasure to make this morning update for you, and see you around. Thank you. Goodbye.